What's up, Sports Spectrum family? Today's episode is brought to you by Athletes in Action. And Jason, I can't imagine not having God's word personally to be able to read scripture. Tell us a little bit about what Athletes in Action is doing.
Yeah, I mean, what you just said is hits the nail on the head, Matt. I mean, imagine you're not having access to God's word, especially athletes, right? And there are so many athletes around the world today that are facing something that we just can't ignore. Athletes in Action is doing a great job. Our partners, and they have sports missionaries on college campuses and professional locker rooms in over 80 countries, and they're seeing people come to know Jesus. And just one critical thing that they've been talking about that's missing with these athletes is access, a Bible in their own language. So here's what Athletes in Action is doing. In fact, a missionary said, "We're desperate for Bibles to hand out to student athletes." That's a quote. So here's what they're doing, and I'd love for people to get involved. Matt, you can tell them a little bit more once I finish here. $22 a month is all it is. And you can put a Bible in the hand of these three athletes every single month, $22. Three Bibles for three student athletes. When you sign up, it's a monthly gift, as we mentioned, $22. By the way, you like that number, 22. That's a pretty good number.
Yeah. I didn't stronghold them and tell them that they had to
You
do
did
that.
not.
It just did. It's God's timing.
It's a pretty good number, though, 22. But here's what you can get. If you sign up for a monthly gift, you'll also receive a free copy of The Increase, which is Sports Spectrum's and PAO's 52-week devotional, which you're featured in, Matt Forte. And you'll get that for free if you sign up to get three Bibles in the hands of student athletes each month for just $22. Simply text SPORTS to 71326 to help provide Bibles to athletes today. Just imagine how much that gift could change an athlete's life. Text the word sports, SPORTS, to 71326, sports to 71326, or you can visit athletesinaction.org/spectrum, athletesinaction.org/spectrum. Message and data rates may apply, available to U.S. addresses only. And thanks to our friends at Athletes in Action.
What's up, y'all? Again, it's Tuesday morning running back. I'm Matt Forte here with Sports Spectrum, and my wise counsel, Jay Nice, is with me. Jason Romano.
It's been a while since you called me Jay Nice. I kind of feel good about that.
I had to give it a break and then bring it back, but
I like that.
to add some swag to the Tuesday morning running back pod as well.
Yes.
But
it's a big week, Matt. It's a big week.
College football weekend, and we had some big games come up. You saw Ohio State, Texas, obviously. But surprisingly, FSU and Alabama, though, that was, a team going from 2-10 last year to taking down Alabama and convincingly too. It wasn't really, a close game in that aspect. So
that was the biggest surprise, I think, right?
Yeah,
that was probably the biggest surprise.
I think so too, especially with the quarterback, making a big statement too. Is saying that Nick Saban can't save him, and then usually that doesn't always end up well when you talk trash like that. But he backed it up, and as well as Tennessee looking pretty good against Syracuse, and with a new quarterback, and they had a guy last year who was, I think, almost touted as one of the top quarterbacks in the NCAA, and he ended up transferring. But there's a lot of new players, new faces, even the OU quarterback at Oklahoma, coming out and looking good out there. And
it felt like that on everything, didn't it? Like every team had new faces, and it was like a full-on free agency moment where the next year every team has all of these new faces because of the transfer protocol.
Yeah, I think that's the nature of what we've been talking about with the transfer portal and kids just kind of staying 1 year or 2 years and hopping teams and going other places, that you kind of don't know what you're gonna get. When you see, and it's I think it's both and, where you see, this new face that is a leader of a team and things like that, but it's an opportunity as well, in a good way, where it's like, okay, this kid can come in and get an opportunity to lead the team. Maybe he didn't have an opportunity at a different place, or someone he was playing behind someone and waiting his turn. But you see a lot of new faces out there coming, and they are taking advantage of the opportunity given them to go out there and excel. And we saw that definitely throughout the whole weekend.
Yeah, and I don't want to take away anything from the fact that we have college football It's back. We have the NFL in just a few days. It's Tuesday morning, and the kickoff is in 2 days with the Cowboys and the Eagles. But I also don't want to freak out. I'm one of those that gets excited. I want to watch the games, but I know some people in my life who are big Texas Longhorn fans. One who works with us on PAO, big Texas Longhorn fan. And I was texting with my buddy, and he's like, "Oh, Arch looks terrible, and that was a terrible loss. We scored 7 points." And I'm like, it was on the road against the national champs, and it's week 1. You don't have to win every game like back in the day in college football to have a chance at a championship. The
Yeah.
playoff is what, 12 teams, 16 teams, whatever it is, and it's like it's not over. You guys are going to be fine. Just give it some time. But
Yeah.
there was a lot of overreaction, and we'll see that next week too when we talk with week 1 of the NFL. But I also want to have people like kind of slow the roll a little bit, be excited that football is back, be happy if your team won, but there's a lot of football left to play.
Yeah, there's a lot of football left to play, and especially as you broke it down too, within the college playoff being more teams now. It's
Yeah.
the Texas is not. It's not the season's over. Don't overreact. The good thing is that you defending national champs away game, and it was a close scoring game. It's
Yeah.
14-7. Like you're still in the game. Like you still were there. Now you get a great lesson in going back and looking at the film, saying, okay, these are the mistakes that we made. This here and this here, we change that or execute on these plays, and we win the game. And those are some of the hard things that when you miss out on a playoff or you miss out on a championship, that you can go back and be like, dang, if we just did that or did this better. But now it's the first game of the season. You correct that now, and you continue to grow and start steamrolling people. And by the end of the season, all the good teams that have really good coaching or have great coaching, they grow as the season goes on. They continue to progress. And I would, people are so hard on players and teams as well because they want them to win every game. It's not realistic. But at the same time, I think it's a great learning lesson. Anytime it can be a biblical principle too. Anytime you're humbled,
Yes.
you have a chance to reset and reassess and be more aware of what you're doing going forward. And you can
Yeah.
literally have that path made forward and say, you know what, I made those mistakes. Let's move forward in a different way that's more vigilant or more, uh, more with my ear to the ground of what God is saying to me, or, same thing in sports, let's not make these turnovers or throw bad passes here and like that. But speaking of overreactions, I don't want you to overreact about in 2 days when the Cowboys take on the Eagles. I know
Matt,
you're a Cowboys fan, and
I
I
was
get
a
I get
Cowboys fan.
I
Oh,
I,
I
I
don't know if I
find
still am,
I
Matt.
find great joy in the fact that it's interesting the history of Cowboys within my family too. My dad grew up in Texas. He's from
Yes.
Texas. Was a Cowboys fan. Was
He
again.
said that on the Father's Day
Yeah.
podcast, remember?
And
Yeah.
naturally, I grew up in Louisiana. I wasn't really a Saints fan, but I wasn't a Cowboys fan either. I just liked running back, so I stuck with the position. Emmitt Smith, 22. I loved it and ended
Mm-hmm.
up incorporating that number and how that worked out and stuff too. But the decisions that Dallas is making, now I get a lot of woes with the Bears because we make some bad decisions and stuff too. But to let Micah Parsons get traded to, and I'm kind of mad at this part too, is that they, Green Bay, the Bears have to face Green Bay and have that guy on the edge that
Right.
we have to take care of.
Bears
But
fans should be very
how
mad.
do you let a guy like that go? 4 straight Pro Bowls, he's clearly the best player on y'all's team.
Yes.
Um, that can really, it's one of those things like on defense, you call a guy a game wrecker. Like you have to account for him on every play. And if you don't block him, like your offense is shut down. He's one
Who
of
are
those
some
type of
real quick,
players.
Matt? Who were some game wreckers when you played? Like you knew those guys, and they were
Well,
like, "Oh boy."
first I got to talk about Tommy Harris because he was on my team,
Okay.
and there would be practices where he'd have to sit out, for certain plays and stuff, so that we could actually run plays.
Wow.
Or otherwise, we can't even get a playoff. He
Yeah.
was that good, that powerful, big and fast and strong and quick, and athletic. So Tommy
Jeez.
Harris was a dog up front.
Yeah.
Guys we faced like that would be on the edge. Shoot, when we faced Julius Peppers, even though he was a teammate at one point, but when we faced him, it was very hard to get things accomplished.
Yes.
You'd have to actually condense your playbook to be like, look, I don't think we can do 5-step drops or 7. I know we can't do 7, but 5, I don't even think we can do 5-step drops. We're gonna have to run short routes, see if we can dump the ball off to the back and inch our way downfield because of his pass rush abilities and stuff. Who else did we play? Just the Seahawks when they had the Legion of Boom, the entire defense really.
Yes.
They had Cliff Averill on the outside. They also had Michael Bennett inside, Cam Chancellor, and you had Earl
and Richard Sherman.
And Richard Sherman on the outside. So and Wagner at
Bobby
at
Wagner
linebacker.
still playing, by the way, with Washington at 35.
Yeah, really stout defense that they had, and it was tough, to do some of those. Jeez. Just you gotta go out there and kind of, what is the defense giving me, and try to take advantage of that. But it's not a lot that they're giving you. But
well, let me tell you something as a fan. That was a kind of a straw that broke the camel's back for me. And I mean, this is a lot of people. I put this on Twitter as well. I'm not even sure if I believe it yet or not, but I kind of am done being a Cowboys fan for now, because I was so mad at that. Because I put out there, Matt, you'll laugh at this. 4 hours before Parsons was traded, I tweeted, if Micah Parsons gets traded, thinking there's no way that Dallas would ever do this, that might be it for me. I'm done as a Cowboys fan. And then he got traded. And I got alerted on text while I was mowing my lawn. And I'm like, this isn't real. This isn't real. And I had to stop mowing the lawn for a minute and really check this out and see if it was real. And I'm like mourning. Like, I felt like, I don't know, when you don't win for a long time, 30 years, and I know it's been longer for Bears fans too, but there's clearly been a disconnect with the Cowboy fans and what Jerry Jones has done as owner. And listen, he's the owner. He can do whatever he wants. But to trade him, and you said it earlier, but as a fan to see that, what am I supposed to get excited about? What am I supposed to really, truly believe that they're all in trying to win a championship when they trade their best player, when they can't figure out how to pay him, who's 26, by the way, when TJ Watt and Myles Garrett got their bag, they were 30. And they're game wreckers. Trust me, they should get it. Mike is still only 26 years old. And that dude wanted to be there for the rest of his life. He said, I dreamed about being a Cowboy since I was a little kid. And you couldn't figure it out? Man.
And that's
hard.
That's the sad part about, this whole NFL part when they talk about the business aspect of it. You didn't really, hear a lot about that back in the 80s, 90s, and it just continued to be more and more. Not that it wasn't there. It's just you didn't hear about it as much.
Yeah.
But even the Bengals situation, they ended up
with Hendrickson,
solidifying a contract with him.
Got him a 1-year deal at least. It was a fair deal. Let him work through this year, and then if he wants to go somewhere else, he'll be a free agent. He can, but
but there is. I don't want to. I want to lead you with a little bit of hope, because there has been a small comparison of when Dallas traded away Herschel Walker. Yeah. And Herschel was 27, 28,
similar
27,
age.
Yep, similar 27. Age. And it led to them making some good decisions in the draft in the 90s, kind of.
I was there. I remember.
The last great period for the Cowboys, that's when that kind of sparked off. So if this is, even though the past is no predictor of the future, sometimes I do kind of understand the GM's aspect of it, saying that the team is never one player away.
I agree with that.
Where like one piece or one player or an addition is gonna like change the full landscape of everything. I think that's circumstantial. Sometimes it just depends on the position and who that player is and kind of the system that they may be in.
A quarterback could change your team.
Yeah,
a brand new quarterback, right?
Absolutely. But
Right.
that's the greatest thing about football is there's 22 people on the field at one time. So it's 11 on
There
11,
is.
and it's the ultimate team sport. A lot of things have to be going your way in order just to move the ball and have a successful play. And
There
that's on
is.
both sides of the ball. So
Oh yeah.
one particular player, even though that player may be the number one in the entire world at that position, got a lot of other guys that got to make some things happen. I played against a lot of great teams and great and Hall of Fame defensive players and stuff, and they earn their check and they earn that gold jacket. But there's been some plays where it's like, well, he's on the backside and boom, we come out for the front side, or we run at him and he can't take on the whole team. So we ended up, being successful again. So it does take everybody, and it could lead them to a position where they end up placing some parts and pieces on that Dallas team. The only thing that is tough about it is, what about right now? What about this season?
Well,
We can't wait on 2026, 27, and 28, and
well,
to
that's the NFL
speculate.
now. That's the NFL now, Matt. You know that. I mean, and
Hmm.
that's fandom too. Everything is now. Like even the moment that he got traded, it was okay. It's all over. The second people go on social media and react right away, and it's everything is right at this moment. And in 2 days, they have to go down to Philadelphia at the link and watch the Eagles put a banner up, their second banner, and then try to beat them in a football game, uh, knowing that the drama and the attention is probably more on Dallas, which is so weird to say when they haven't won anything in 30 years, than it is on the team that's actually putting up a banner. And I know we're not making predictions of games too often, but that might be one of the more ugly games of the year. I hope I'm wrong, obviously, rooting for this team for 40 plus years, but the Eagles might take every sense of joy that they can take and just take it out on the fact that the Cowboys are the dysfunctional franchise that they are. But
Well, that's the great part about this whole NFL season is the
yes, sir.
anticipation, because we'll see.
Well, let me throw
Because
this at you real
there
quick.
has been Super Bowl slumps as
Well,
well.
you
For
remember because you played a team that had won a Super Bowl a couple years earlier on their opening night, your very first NFL game, right? Went to Indianapolis, and I'm guessing everybody picked the Colts in
oh,
that game,
we didn't have a chance leading up to the game.
and
It
y'all
was
took care of business.
Yeah,
So
opening
opening
night
night, right?
ceremony
Sunday
of
night
the
football,
Sunday Night Football, and brand new stadium, all the good things, right?
Lucas
And
Oil.
took it
Yeah,
to them. So
right. You never know.
you
Football
never
is
know.
definitely one of those games where usually the best team wins, obviously, but there are games where you just shake your head and you're like, how did that team beat that team? Mental errors, execution, all the things. So I don't know, man. It'll be fun talking next Tuesday.
Yeah,
We'll see. We'll see. We
we'll
shall
s-
see.
we'll see if
I'm
that
struggling. It was a
void.
tough weekend. I get texts from people
Yeah,
like my dog had died or something. You okay, Jason? I'm like, yes, I'm fine. But,
yeah. We'll see
so
how big that void is on the Dallas defense coming up.
we'll see. We'll see if they even get a sack against Philly. That'll be the tall tale of whether they can do it. But it is football, NFL Week 1 coming up, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago. So a good transition here, I think, might be to do a little Matt Forte Tuesday morning running back predictions for the season. And I think I laid out 5 for you to kind of pick from. And the easiest one I think to start with would be not easiest one, but a sort of low hanging fruit to start would be the rushing leader and the
Hmm.
NFL in 2025. So who do you think leads the league in rushing this year in the NFL?
So I'm gonna go out on a limb because, as we've said many times before, previous year is not a great predictor of anything going forward. But I think with this
Yes.
guy going into this year, he's gonna continue to improve. Last year had 1,400 rushing yards, 60 plus receptions,
Okay.
and I'm gonna go with Bijan Robinson. I'm gonna go.
Bijan, I like
I
it.
think they're gonna really feed him. They're really unsure at the quarterback position and young, so we'll see what they do. And I think their best bet is to feed him the ball, which they figured out last year. And the jump from year 1 to year 2 was like, oh yeah, he's exactly who we thought he was when we drafted him. So they need to feed him. Hopefully he stays healthy. And also, precursor, I'm terrible at predictions. Like when it
Yes, we
comes
know
to,
this. You said
to
that.
and when it comes to games and all those things, it's just like,
But that's
it's tough.
okay. Yeah, we're all I used to make predictions when I worked at ESPN, and I would literally hashtag it predictions that stink. Like, so people understood these are not good predictions. And the only one I ever got right, which was at the expense of your team, was in 2010. I picked
Oh
in
man.
September. I picked Pittsburgh and Green Bay to win it all. And it happened.
Oh
Now,
man.
obviously Green Bay beat your team. So that wasn't a good ending for you, but I picked that in September and it came true. But everything else I've pretty much predicted has not come true. So don't worry about it if you're right or wrong. This is what makes it fun, though.
Yeah, you only hear about it when you're right. Anyway.
That's right. Yeah. Well, we'll revisit these if you're right. If you're wrong, we'll throw them in the garbage and never revisit again. All right. Most surprising team that you think will kind of catch some people off guard this year?
Most surprising team. I'm gonna go with most surprising team. There's a lot.
That could mean both sides too. It could
Yeah.
mean a team that's that's always pretty good that wasn't, or it could be a team that's hasn't been very good that surprises and goes, to the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm gonna rock with who should I go with?
Since you got a couple in your brain here.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go with the Giants for some reason. I think they're gonna surprise people.
I think that's a good pick.
This year. I think some things are gonna shake out in their favor, and that some real leaders or real actual like players are gonna emerge from that team to lead. Yeah. So I'm gonna go with them, and then as a surprise of people thinking like less than, but the team that somebody I guess or that they're thinking more of that is probably or that won't do as well.
We might pick the same team here. I'm curious where you're gonna go.
I'm gonna go with Baltimore.
Wow,
go with
that's not who I was picking. Okay.
Yeah, I think they're aging a little bit, and Lamar. Don't get me wrong. Like Lamar is really he's top in the league. Like he's a great quarterback, and they haven't figured out a way yet for him to get past that level.
Yeah, they haven't been able to get over the hump.
They haven't been able to get over that specific hump. So
yeah. Okay, Baltimore.
Yeah.
The Giants in Baltimore. So the team I was going to take in the way that you took the Ravens is Washington. Because they had 12 wins last year, and you know this because of the way they beat the Bears on that Hail Mary. They had a lot of games that they probably shouldn't have won, or that they just figured out a way to win at the end. Now, listen, they beat the Lions. All the credit in the world to get to. They beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Lions to get to the NFC Championship game. Outside of their quarterback, though, who's going to be really good, Daniels, they're the oldest team in the NFL. They got a lot of guys 30 plus. And when you do that, you got to hit on all of them for it to be good. And you know this because you were one of those guys at one point. Those aches and pains and injuries creep up a little bit more the older you get in a lot of ways. And I'm not saying that that's going to happen here. And if you're a Washington fan, please don't think I hate you at all. I just think it's really hard to sustain success with an older team in this day in the NFL. So
it's easy to look back too at their season and analyze it and be like, wait, they did win those games, but how many times are you going to win on a last second Hail Mary like that? Or now in the play, like when they got in the playoffs, fair and square, like they beat those teams. They ran into the Eagles, and the Eagles showed them that they were a little better. But some of the games, I guess, to get there, things really worked in their favor for that to happen. So
and that has to happen. A lot of times that's how good teams have great seasons is just things fall in place. They get the right backup quarterback that week because the starter is out. Things just fall your way. You get a Hail Mary like they did against the Bears. You just never know. And so we'll see. I mean, for Washington's sake and for Daniel, I hope Jaden Daniels is awesome. I hope Terry McLaurin has a great season. He got his bag, but they're an older team and that's hard to sustain, I think.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
All right.
Then we don't heal as fast when she hit.
Yeah, you know that.
31, 32.
Yes. It's not like
you don't have a lot of time. You don't have a lot of time. Time is not on your side.
No, it is not. And it's all about not for long, right? The NFL, as it stands for. All right. So we got the rushing leader. You picked Bijan. By the way, real quick on predictions. You did predict on this podcast about a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, that the Bears would win 9 games. You said they'd go 9-8 and go over 500. So that's a little bit surprising too, but there's a lot of excitement in Chicago, as you know, and
Yeah.
certainly as a fan watching from afar, that the Bears could make a little noise this year. Tough division, obviously,
Yeah.
but that was a prediction you made too that I want to
Just
put
got
on
tougher.
record again. It just got tougher. Thanks a lot, Jerry Jones, right? Yeah, it just got tougher. All right, so now we're going to get to the nitty gritty here for MVP for 2025 in the NFL.
MVP 2025 NFL. This one's kind of hard because it's
Well, one thing they always, it feels like
it's
the MVP
usually
every year is usually a quarterback. That's right.
unless somebody has some kind of,
Even Saquon had the season of seasons, and he didn't even win. He didn't even finish second in MVP last year.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I guess I'll just take one of these. As much as I hate to do it, I'm gonna say Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's motivated even more now. You kind of have those Super Bowls and those things, and it's like, all right, let me submit my like legacy part and show people that I am kind of the guy, like as far as the quarterback of quarterbacks in this league. There's like that top tier, and he wants to be like, I'm here, and then everybody else is top, but they're there. So I think he wants to submit that legacy part of what he can really do, and he can do some amazing things out there.
He's
the
incredible.
way he throws the ball, and yeah,
that's a great pick. I don't think anybody would say, "Oh, come on, Matt," because last year it was Josh Allen. 2 years ago it was Lamar, and I don't remember 3 years ago it was probably Mahomes, but I have to look it up. But it was Lamar and Josh Allen the last 2 years. My sleeper in this is Joe Burrow. I remember we're going to have Luke McCown on the podcast soon, and we asked him, spoiler alert, who the best quarterback in the NFL was. He said Joe Burrow. If the Bengals can get to the playoffs and have some success, let's say they win 11 games, maybe make it to the divisional round, Burrow could sneak in, get a sneaky MVP guy there and sneak in ahead of, but those other three are, at least I think, considered the class of quarterbacks in the NFL, with Mahomes, with Josh Allen, and with Lamar Jackson. So we'll see. It'll be fun. I like the Mahomes pick though.
The year that Calvin Johnson had 2,000 receiving yards, did he even get NFL MVP? I feel like that's insane. That's one of those things where I don't know. I don't feel like that's fair. It's like it should be, where a guy who does something that's above and beyond what's a normal or a good season, should get a NFL MVP nod.
No, I agree. I mean, I'm looking here real quick and doing some math, and I think it was 2014 that he did that. Let's look here. Yeah, he didn't even sniff the top 3 or 4 in MVP, even the year that he had almost 2,000 receiving yards. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And that kind of the team plays towards it too. They're probably, didn't make the playoffs that year or anything. And
it's nuts. It's nuts. Well, 2 years ago, Christian McCaffrey was third in MVP voting as a running back. So that was good. Last year, Saquon was third. Burrow was fourth. Lamar Jackson was second. Josh Allen was first. 2 years ago, Lamar won it, and Dak Prescott was second in MVP. 2022, Mahomes won it. Jalen Hurts was second in MVP. So Hurts is another guy to pay attention to as well.
We see Hurts come out and
let's say Saquon regresses just a little, but Hurts ups his game, and they still win 13 or 14 games. Yeah, he could sneak in there and win it too. Speaking of Super Bowl, let's talk about that. Who's your teams from each division? And then the last thing will be your Super Bowl winner. But who do you got? Let's start in the AFC. Who do you have in the AFC this year in the Super Bowl?
I don't know.
You don't know?
It's so hard. Like,
it is. It's wide open. I think the AFC is wide open.
You know what? I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna say Josh Allen makes it this year.
Okay.
I'm gonna say they get over the hump and they they actually do it this time. The Bills Mafia's
They
gonna go
need it.
crazy
Oh, they will
at
go
the
nuts if they can get to the Super Bowl. Nuts.
and then
Absolutely insane.
and
Well, you got Philly returning, you know,
yeah,
if you pick them. Detroit has been close twice, not made it. You got the Green Bay move with
I
Micah.
feel like surprisingly Detroit might take a step back too for
Yes.
that other prediction.
They
I
lost their
feel like.
offensive coordinator, lost their defense. I mean, they
Mhm.
lost a lot of important pieces. In the South, a few people I know have picked Tampa as a team that could kind of ascend a little bit. They got Emeka Egbuka and added that to their
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield's offense. But I don't know, man. The West is a really tough division where any of those teams could win the division. The Rams, the Seahawks, the 49ers, any of those teams. Arizona even could, if they're healthy, could make some noise.
Yeah.
So your pick, man.
I am gonna go. I'm not choosing Green Bay, so
Okay, that's fine.
and I'm gonna rep for my guys in Tampa.
Tampa.
I
All
think
right.
Baker's. Let's see how the Bucks do. Let's see them make a Super Bowl run. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they did add some pieces, so
I love that pick. Buffalo
let's
versus
go.
Tampa.
Yeah,
That's Matt Forte's Super Bowl. Who's winning it all? Buffalo or Tampa?
I think Buffalo takes it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had Buffalo and Detroit, and I had Buffalo winning it all as well, in a close one. I think I like Baltimore not to regress, and but I love your pick, Buffalo, Tampa, and Buffalo winning it all. So Bills Mafia should be very happy what they hear on today's podcast. They have you talk about, I don't know what the word is, praying, screaming, pleading with the gods of the NFL that we don't believe in, obviously, to give them a chance to get to the Super Bowl and win it. That city might blow up.
Yeah.
If the Bills win it all, Matt. I'm just saying.
Just disintegrate.
Just disintegrate. It might be the end of it might be it for Buffalo.
Yeah.
And that might be it for the Bills. No. I watched them on Hard Knocks a little bit too this year. They were the Hard Knocks team. And we both know some guys that are behind the scenes in Buffalo. And Len Vandenbosch, shout out to Len.
Yeah.
They have such a good culture there with Sean McDonough. I like what they have.
Yeah.
I think this could be their year.
Yeah.
And their window's not exactly long either. I mean, you got a 2 to 3 year window with your quarterback here. You got to take advantage of it.
That's true. I've sat in on some of their team chapel whenever they come into town because I know Lynn, the chaplain for them, and like Sean is just a great coach, like super down to earth, personable, and you can see that he's created that kind of family oriented culture within that team. And we talk about that all the time, how culture matters and the identity of your team and stuff. So
he loves Jesus too, which is cool.
They got a solid foundation within that team.
All right, so we're on the Bills bandwagon. We'll be revisiting this all throughout the year. And if Buffalo goes like 3-7 in their first 10, do not come calling Matt Forte or Sports Spectrum about that. Okay,
it's not our fault. The players play.
Fault.
The players play.
That's right. Yeah. This is not our fault. All right, let me take a quick break, and then we're going to find out from Matt what he learned at church this weekend. Just want to tell people again about our friends at Athletes in Action. They got sports ministries on college campuses all across the world, and it's in those locker rooms, 80 countries, by the way, where the one thing that these new believers that they're ministering to ask for is a Bible in their own language. One missionary said that we're desperate for Bibles to hand out to student athletes. There has been a huge demand for physical Bibles. And so what a great way to meet that need. You can do that right now as you're listening. For just $22 a month, you can put a Bible in the hands of 3 different athletes every single month when you sign up for that monthly gift. $22. We like that number, Matt Forte, 22. And they can also receive a copy of the Increase 52-week devotional for free if they sign up, which Sports Spectrum produced. Simply text the word sports, SPORTS, to 71326, sports to 71326, and put 3 Bibles in the hands of an athlete every single month. 3 different athletes, 3 Bibles. What a great way to get God's word into the hands of those in the world of sports. Again, text that word sports to 71326. You can also visit the website, athletesinaction.org/spectrum, athletesinaction.org/spectrum. Message and data rates may apply, available to U.S. addresses only. Okay, Matt Forte, what'd you learn at church this weekend?
Yeah, switching gears from the idolization of NFL football.
I know.
It was a great sermon. It was one of the youth pastors actually preached, a guy named Chelton, who does a great job with the children's ministry there, and he preached about faith. Hebrews chapter 11, which we all know is the wonderful thing about Hebrews is we don't necessarily know who the author is, and or even when it was written, but it goes back to Abraham, talking about him and how Abraham had faith, and even Enoch. So this person knows the Old Testament, whoever wrote this, and it describes faith as the substance or the assurance, right, of things hoped for, but the evidence of things not seen. And I think if you take that at face value, you can be like me as a child and be like, what? What does that mean?
Yes.
But literally, it's something tangible that we can hope for. So it's something that can be grasped. It's actually tangible, what you're hoping for. There's actually something real that you hope for. Like when you hope for, I hope my parents, buy pizza for Friday night and to watch the game, or I hope, I get a bike for Christmas. Like you actually know there's something that you don't have it yet, but you're actually hoping for it. So it's something tangible. And then the assurance of those things and the evidence of it, but it's not seen. So there's actual evidence. And it goes back to the Psalm, one of the Psalms, I think it's maybe Psalm 19. I'm not sure which one it is, but it talks about the heavens and the earth declare God's glory.
Yes.
So you can go outside. There's evidence outside. You can walk outside and look and be like, God did this. He created this. Nobody looks at a painting of the Mona Lisa and say, wow, the way the paint just came together magically on the page, that there's nobody thinks that there's no artist by looking at a masterpiece. So you look at the earth, like, as much as people, we take it for granted of just going out and there's oxygen and this is the only planet that humans can live on. Like, that's God's handiwork. That's his creation. So it's the evidence there of what you can't see. We didn't see it be made or created, but the evidence is there. And so having that faith like that, the greatest thing about it is one of the things he added to his sermon as well is it doesn't take this great like huge faith. It's the mustard seed faith. It's the mustard seed, the seed that is so small you barely can see it with your eye, that you can move mountains with that. And God does all the work, right? We as much as we want to pat ourselves on the back and like, I've been so faithful and I've done this, and in that verse later on, it says that he's a rewarder of those who are faithful, that without faith nothing is possible. Like without faith nothing can be. I don't care how hard you work, how talented you are, how smart and intelligent you are, whatever it is you do, without having faith there is nothing that is possible. But with faith all things are possible. And it's like, that is the beginning of everything. And as we talk about Jesus, the author, as the Bible says, the author and finisher of our faith. So he's the one who authorized it, and he's the author of it, the initiator of our faith, the object of our faith, and the finisher of it, which goes back to the other verse of Christ Jesus, who began a good work in you is faithful to finish it, the good work. So if we have enough faith, little bitty mustard seed faith, to actually trust God and say, I know God has made me, created me. I think he has a plan for me. Let me obediently listen to him, dive into his word, abide in him, and bear fruit in that way. Then he's faithful to finish those things. And it's not on us to like make it happen. Just trust God and do what he's asking you to do. And in faith, he's a rewarder of those who are faithful.
That's really good. We use that word a lot, faith, right? Like I'm a man of faith, or
Hmm.
even sports spectrum, the intersection of sports and faith. And obviously, we don't just say any faith. We're talking about Jesus, and that's who we trust in. That's who our Lord and Savior is. But that word means so much when you think about how you live your life as a follower of Jesus. It's having faith in trusting that God is who he says he is, and that Jesus
Yeah.
is who he says he is. It reminds me of that moment when that guy was talking to Jesus and he says, Lord, I believe,
Hmm.
I do, but help my unbelief. And you talk about faith as a mustard seed. That's tiny, right? Those seeds, and they can bloom and grow into something magnificent and big. But it starts with just a little bit. And obviously we're human. I think Jesus understands, and God understands that, you know, our human flesh is going to doubt a little bit here and there, or sometimes we got a little unbelief because we're not quite sure how we're going to get through this. But it's Lord, I believe, help my unbelief. And that's what comes to mind when I think about faith.
Yeah. I think the thing to clarify the importance, or like the best thing about faith, and what separates it from other things, like there's gonna in this life, there's gonna be faith, there's gonna be fear, there's gonna be doubt.
Mm,
All of those mix into the trusting part, because there, no matter how faithful you are and how much you say you love God, there's there's times where you doubt what's gonna happen or what's next. Like there's always doubt. The thing that makes faith what is faith is to actually walk by. It calls walking by faith. You actually
yes, not
take
by
that
sight.
next step. You take that
Yeah,
actual next step to trust him, and then it's like, okay, now a little bit more of the plan is revealed. Okay, now a little bit more of the, now I know experientially that God is, his presence is with me. And if you read the Bible, every time God is in someone's, is in the presence of those who he has anointed, or he's like in some kind of type of situation. Let's take a look back at the three Hebrew boys of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. It said the fire that they were thrown into was so hot that the guards who went to put them in there, they burnt up,
mm,
and not a hair on their head was singed. And he also said, it was like, oh wait, there was three in there, but there's four in there. So his presence is always something that is so powerful within. But the only way you get his presence is to take the step of faith.
yeah. What a great reminder. Hebrews is a great book, by the way. Hebrews 11 is sort of the book of faith, right? I think when they talk about um, what faith is, having faith, and it lists out, if you keep
The
reading
hall
in
of
Hebrews
faith.
11, the
Yeah.
hall of faith. That's right. All the people who were living out their lives trusting and having faith that God is going to was faithful in who he says he was, and he was going to see him through, and he did. Um, great piece of scripture to continue to read, Matt Forte. All right, so last Sunday, what you learned, that was the last day of August. We're in September now. And so the fall is here. The crisp air. I don't know. Is it crisp and cool in Chicago right
It
now?
is.
It
It
is
is.
here too in Connecticut. Yeah.
It starts to, as soon as you feel that, it's like, ooh, I know winter's coming
It's
really
coming.
quickly.
That's right. The changing of the seasons, the leaves are going to turn, and the NFL is upon us, my friend, in 2 days. Kick off with the Eagles and the Cowboys, and then week one, big weekend of football. Cannot wait to talk about it with you next Tuesday and hear about, how your Bears did. Talk about my former team that I used to root for, the Cowboys. Wink, wink. All of the games. It's going to be a lot of fun to talk about. Hey, thanks for watching Sports Spectrum here on YouTube. You can click our next video, or you can check out our website, sportspectrum.com.